This is Ryan Ellis, and I am pleased as a peach in Georgia, except we're in Detroit, to be joined with the LaRupin legendary Lee Canady. How you doing, sir?
All right. How you doing, man?
Doing swell, doing mighty swell. We were talking on the phone the other day, and you told me some jazz albums artists that every self-respecting jazz fan should know and be familiar with. I'm going to read off these that you listed to me and see what you have to say about them. Jazz albums every jazz man had. Errol Garner, Concert by the Sea.
Right. Errol Garner, Concert by the Sea. They would always have like Newport 58, Duke Ellington.
Yep. That's another one.
Something Else by Cannonball Adderley, which Miles Davis is on there, but the album's called Something Else. Every jazz person would have something, have those albums. Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong. Everybody had that app. And another one called by Ahmad Jamal, Ponciana. And those were like, and everybody who said that I have jazz, they would have those records, okay?
Undoubtedly.
Right. Now, Miles Davis, he wasn't in the group at that time so much as Miles was always Miles, but he didn't have a record out that was really a hit record at the time, like Cannonball Adderley, Something Else. Miles would be on there. They were all recorded together at some time or another. Because in the beginning they was on Prestige and Savoy label, Charlie Parker, all that stuff, and they regrouped, and then artists became legendary by the leaders like Thelonious Monk, Miles Davis, Coltrane. See, they was all in the same group at one time, recording together. Then they started breaking out on their own. And like we talked about Paul Humphrey, he never did. He did things, but it didn't do a hit to give him the name that he could say, I'm booking Paul Humphrey in.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that, you see. He was always a side man, but he was a good guy, but that's the way it was,
Gave you a Cadillac. That's a pretty good guy. His mom's
Yeah.
Cadillac.
I'm sure he made a lot of money because he probably made more money than the other guys who was true jazz players, because they was playing at clubs that sometimes they didn't get paid when they got through. Because the man didn't have enough money to pay them. And that's what was wrong with jazz at the time, and like promoters at the time, when a guy go and do a gig, and the guy said, well, man, we didn't make enough money, can't pay you. And and they was always on the go, But some of the big stars, they started doing things on themselves. Now, Coltrane, he was out a long time doing other things. He had an album called Giant Step, one of his best albums, his first album on Atlantic label. But it still didn't get the promotion that some of the others got. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Coltrane really got big when he did My Favorite Things. That's when he blew up off the wall. And then he changed over from My Favorite Things to Love Supreme. And then he lost everybody then, because, Stacey wasn't playing. Some of my friends, this jockey, we should talk about that, And so, but anyway, that's the way it was.
Duke Ellington, Deep Blue.
Duke Ellington, Jeep, I think it was called Jeep, G-E-P, I think.
Oh, Jeep Blue.
Yeah, I think that's what it's called. We pronounce it that way anyway.
Oh. That's like a joke, yeah.
Somehow pronunciation, I think it was called Jeep Blue. That was the name of the tune.
And you mentioned Albert Jamal Hosanna. Albert Jamal Hosanna.
No, I'm Jamal Ponciana.
Oh.
Ponciana.
Mondegreen, Lady Mondegreen.
Yeah, that's it. That's his signature. Ponciana. That's Jamal. And then, well.
Oh, and one more left. This is actually the one that launched the whole list to begin with. There is we're going to talk about it next time, we'll say. There's an article going around viral at the moment here in 2022 August about Newport Jazz Festival changed music, changed jazz, changed live music. It was revolutionary, and you mentioned the Newport Festival record.
Well, that's when I think that we got exposed to a lot of things in that era because, jazz was just, that was about the biggest, was Newport, like the jazz festival. Like we're going to have a jazz festival here, and we call that a big thing where it'd be a lot of people here and be more in one group. You can see this group at the same time, go from place to place. And that's why that album was so famous. Duke Ellington, Newport 58, they did a tune on called Jeep Blues, and Johnny Hodges did a big solo. It was a hit, what I'm saying. And like everybody who knew something about jazz, they had that record. And then at the time, mostly big band was back in the day, early days of jazz. It was big band anyway. And Duke Ellington was a big band. See, I wasn't a Duke Ellington fan at the time because I don't care for big band. And I can stand the trombone. I didn't like the trombone. But, Curtis Fuller, he made it. And somebody else played trombone, Slam Stewart. He was bad on the trombone. He would, I think that was Slam Stewart. No, not Slam Stewart. Maybe not Sam. But anyway, in Jazz Crusaders, they had a trombone player in that band.
Yeah.
I think was it Hooper? But I don't remember his name right now, which one they played. But anyway, so everybody at the time like had that Newport 58. The people that I knew who knew a little about jazz. And when you go to their house, they would have that. And they would have something by Dinah Watts. And another one, Dakota Staten. She was a jazz singer. And like, you had to have Dakota Staten. She did the thing called a Late Late Show. And that was the only album. She did more than one album, though. But that was the album that sold. Late Late Show. Everybody had that. Dakota Staten.
Did you ever go to the Newport Jazz Festival?
No, I don't fly and I don't go. I'm not into that. I don't dig that.
So anything, not just stateside, literally the state you're in, Michigan.
Well, I got enough entertainment here. I want to see the people that I want to see anyway. I don't go out and just go to a concert not knowing who I'm going to see. I had to be going. I go out for a special reason. I don't just go out.
You don't want to be surprised. You want to know where you're going to get yourself.
I want to know what I want to listen to because I might not want to go there tonight. I want to go something else.
Yeah.
So that's all. I don't just listen to like records. You can give me a record about somebody I may never play it. A lot of records I never play. It's only my favorite one that I play over and over and over again.
Well, that's a good question. There are some artists I would be safe to say you probably love. Are there any artists that you love that there's some music they recorded you've never listened to, you don't plan on listening to?
No artists that I like? No.
You listen to everything that you can get your hands on.
Yeah, jazz. I mostly listen to jazz. I don't listen to new groups.
Yeah.
Black or white holler. Unless I heard something by him because I don't know what he's doing. And I'm sure he's doing something. But I only have so many times, it's only so many minutes in an hour, right?
Yeah.
So I don't have so much time to listen to music. So therefore, when I have the time to listen to music, I want my favorite music. I'm in the mood for Sarah Vaughan today. I might put her on and listen to Sarah Vaughan for the next month. Play the same thing over and over again,
Yeah.
Same album, a CD.
Yeah.
My artists that way. Like sometimes I go back and I've been listening to King Pleasure and Eddie Jefferson a lot lately. It just all depends on the mood that I'm in.
Yeah.
That's how I listen to my music. And sometimes I want the blues. So I listen to someone who maybe sing, Ray Charles.
Earlier we started out today on this journey.
But when Ray Charles came out with Am I Blue, Genius of Soul, that's when I really started listening to Ray Charles myself. That's what I like. He did a tune, Am I Blue? And there's tears in my eyes, telling you. That's something, man. That was a tune. And I would get my wine and my stuff, for days. And I might play that Genius. He came out having Genius plus Soul too on Impulse. See, Ray Charles is a entertainer. He's a musician. He's a genius, just like they said.
Absolutely.
You know, anybody can do what he does.
Yeah.
What he's done, got to be a genius.
Yeah.
You know, but I never got a chance to meet Ray Charles, like person the person. I think I saw him. He might have came to my town and back in the day in Arkansas because see I drove cab, and when the singers come in town, where they had a strip by like Greektown here,
Yeah.
there's black clubs,
Yeah.
about 4 or 5 black clubs on that block. That's where the black went to play, and that's what when they come in town, Little Richard, they even played at the club there. It wasn't a club really; it was a ballroom.
Yeah.
And all that people do is get to drink and get drunk and fight. And I didn't dig that, you know.
Amen.
And so I drove cab, but because I was down there, my cab stand was like a couple doors down. While I'm waiting on some customers just killing time, I might walk into the club because I didn't, I'm down there and I could walk in and listen to a few and get back out. But I didn't do much of that, you know. I didn't dance. I had a girlfriend, I took her to the dance. We danced 1, 2, 1, 2, that kind of thing. And we didn't drink, but I just looked at the people. But, I didn't like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And till I came here, I bought my own records because I was listening to Randy Record Shop. And when I started driving cab, I started when I was about 18. Was I 18? I wasn't 18, I think. I had my age put up. And I would listen to Randy Record Mart, and I would hear the music. So there was a place that sold records. They didn't have any black records to go and ask for something they didn't have. They ordered for you. I could order from Randy myself, but they were ordered for me. I paid for it in advance. They ordered for me, and then when they get it, I go buy it. So one day, I was driving cab. I was double parking to take it to go in there and look at the records. And the police came by and walked in the store and said, "Who's driving that cab?" I said, "I'm driving, so I'm leaving." I told him I was delivering, down there you can call it Rexall Drug. Said, "Send me a Coke and a cheeseburger, send me a hamburger." They fix it, put it in the bag, if it's down the block, I walk it. If someplace else, I had to take a car. I had a 50 brand new Ford. I was driving, delivering medicine in. And that's how I started learning about counting money and business transaction, things like that. Okay? And but anyway, I would order until the police came in and said, whose cab is that? I said, "It's my cab. But I'm finna move, officer." He said, "If you don't move, I'm on something." And I said, "What?" And he said something about doing something to me, and I said, "You had to bring it to get it," or something like that. And I got to thinking about that. Let me get out of here. And I started saving my money because I couldn't live there like that, Because ordinarily, they see somebody at double park, they don't say anything. You deliver medicine. That's the way it was down there. But he knew it was my car because it said Shine Cab Company. And that was the owner's name was Shine. That was the name. He knew it was Black Cab Company, but he told me, threatened me and I told him, "You got to bring ass to get ass," something like that.
Man.
Yeah, I was. And but anyway, I left and came here. And and then when I got here, I went to work at a store in Addy Park, at a department store. I went in and swept up and mopped the floor and emptied toilets and things like that. But I was called Stock Boy or something like that. Stock Boy. So I worked there, but from there I went to Monroe Music because the guy saw something in me. He sent me down, and my brother-in-law had been working for the company 2 or 3 years before I started working, but he was working in Farmington. Farmington. Out on Joy Road. I think it was Joy Road. Plymouth. That was on Plymouth Road out there. And so it wasn't in Detroit. So they had a big basement where all the clothes come in. He ordered from the manufacturer, but he had 3 or 4 other stores. So the clothes go in there, and they check them in and send each store so many sizes and so many this and so many that. They charge it out and send it to my store. But this owner sent me downtown, but he could have sent other people that have been working, but he sent me. And that's how I met Florence Kewell. And so, like I said, I moved in. She had greeting cards, whatnot, little thing like that, you know, I don't know what to call it. Anyways, government employees, the city and the county could shop there. Anybody else could shop there. That was before they had a place like where you buy stuff in bulk. You John, what you call it, and you join the thing, and you.
Oh, like a Sam's Club or a Costco.
Sam's Club. It was something like like that, like Sam's Club.
My phone. Oh, sorry. Let me try again. Most unique camera angle. Oh! See how unique my camera angle is? That's how unique it is. Gee golly. Here, let me put the parking brake on. There we go. Let's try that again.